Hey guys, Welsknight here, and welcome back to another episode of our Total War Warhammer Online Battle series thing. Welcome to another online battle. I'm playing into the Greenskins today. I have an Empire opponent, or an Empire ally, and I'm actually playing against the Greenskins with an Empire ally. So we got a little bit of an unlikely alliance going on here. Greenskins and Empire versus Greenskins and Empire. I am formed up primarily over here with my ally pretty much over here. And then we've got a big chunk of Imperial forces all along this whole area right in here. A mix of, looks like Greenskins and Empire, and then a couple of Greenskin units from our opponents hiding over here. Looks like this is where most of his cavalry and trolls are. So, a couple things I want to hit on with army composition. I've got primarily, my main line is going to be Orc Boys. I've got them reinforced with a giant, couple Goblin Big Bosses and an Orc War Boss. Over here, I've got a couple of Night Goblins because they have stalks, so they're invisible even though they're in plain sight on the map itself. That ability allows them to not be seen, so my opponent doesn't know that they're there. I was hoping that if they ended up charging things down in this direction, I'd be able to get some nice behind flanks, charges in the rear, stuff like that. I've got a couple of Night Goblin Archers because they have poison attacks, which can be very useful. A couple of Boar Biggins, and then I believe 2 units, maybe just 1 unit of Black Orcs as well. My ally had an army composition that I think is a little bit questionable. He's got 1 unit of greatswords, a couple units of swords, and then he brought a steam tank, which honestly I kind of like the pick of the steam tank against the Greenskins just because they have very low leadership, and steam tank has the causes terror ability, so I kind of like the pick of the steam tank. But then we've got the steam tank, we've got a great cannon, once again expensive, Karl Franz, once again expensive, and then an Amber Wizard, and over here 2 units of Reichsguard. So my ally, I mean, looking at the troop count, we have 1630 as our number of troops, but the vast majority of those are mine. He brought a relatively small number of troops, and that might cause us some problems. We've got spearmen with shields as well. Just not a whole lot of stuff from the Empire. But we're formed up, and we're very strong on this side, and we've got these hills right here that create kind of a natural barrier that I'll be able to fight in choke points, which is good. I'm not going to hit too much on the opponent's army compositions, but basically they've got some good stuff. They've got similar stuff, some Black Orcs, some Orc Boys. We've got some Knights of the Blazing Sun, Zintler's Reichsguard, a couple generals and flying stuff. There's a little bit of an Empire flying death squad going on. So yeah. And then these trolls and units over here. Now, right away, I'm going to see his giants hiding in the woods here. And I'm going to look around and think, okay, if that's all the units that he's got, we're going to go. Because if I can get rid of these guys early and eliminate them from the fight with my big army over here, we will have a definite advantage. Because those giants are going to be high-risk units, as will the Orc Boar Boy Biggins. Those can cause problems. And this Goblin Big Boss. I'd like to get rid of all of those guys, and if they're just kind of off there on their own, they're not going to be able to fight off my entire army. So I'm going to start moving my guys forward. My ally keeps his line right here. This hill right here is going to prevent anything from attacking right here. So he should shift his line probably to right here to fight between these 2 hills, and then they have to attack him from the front. He doesn't really start doing that. Now, our opponents also spawned in a Manticore with their Amber Wizard. I just heard it somewhere. I hear it spawning in. Or maybe it's spawning in on our side. Yeah, we've got an Amber Wizard, a Feral Manticore that we spawned in, actually. So that's okay. That's good. I believe there's going to be one off over here somewhere, though, too. Yeah, right here. Feral Manticore spawned in. But with all those forces, our enemies are going to start attacking and hammering this flank right here. I've already got into a little bit of a scuffle here with with these goblins. My orc boys are taking them on, and they should do well in that fight. They're definitely superior infantry to the goblins, and goblins have weak morale. But we've got these black orcs coming in to reinforce. So because those black orcs are coming in, I'm going to send in my giant, who's anti-infantry, armor-piercing, and should really be able to help back up my or my orc boys. Over here, we've got all of these units coming in on the flank, and my ally still hasn't shifted his line. So they're basically going to get flanks. They're going to get flanks on the charge, which is problematic. This is not going to go well unless he shifts his line very soon and sends some guys in to start supporting. Over here, I'm basically uncontested at the moment, and I'm trying to form a choke point here and a choke point here. I've got my Night Goblin Shaman going into support. With some spells, sneaky stabbing, itchy nuisance, all that kind of good stuff. And he's going to start sending in some of his cavalry. I'm going to see if I can get my Boar Boy Biggins, which are anti-large, these Orc Boar Boy Biggins, out to basically deal with the giant and some of these other cavalry units and things like that. Here we have basically taken care of the goblins that are about to fall apart. Now the Empire does send in a couple flying units to assist against these black orcs, which is good. They're wavering now, and they should start breaking. I did fire off a magic missile spell at their giant, which they sent into that fray. Over here, the Empire has kind of started to form a line now, sort of, but they're just getting swamped by the massive numbers of enemies that our opponents brought. And most of my army is over here where they're not really being very helpful because I'm kind of tied up in this choke point right here. We are going to drop this giant pretty quick now that my goblins have started shooting at him. Giants really don't like getting shot at with arrows. There's a couple of Doom Divers over here that are shooting at me, but they're not too big of a threat. I'm not super worried about it, and I am going to start sending my forces through over here and here to try and deal with that. The cheap Empire infantry, these spearmen, and Karl Franz are all about to kick the bucket. There goes Karl Franz. Allies' lord has fallen. We did kill one of their lords relatively early on, which is good. Also, these handgunners all have basically free range to shoot into my Empire ally over here from the flanks, which is not good at all. So this whole flank has collapsed at this point because they were attacked from the flank, and that didn't work. And they had very few units to begin with. So at this point, it's basically me. It's basically me against two opponents. I've started to kind of form up here, here, and then I was going to kind of send these guys over, but realizing that I'm in a very bad defensive position right now, since my ally has pretty much fallen apart, I start pulling these guys back, and I'm going to try and force an engagement here and here. Right here, I have done very well, and we've taken care of the giant. My giant's down to half health, but everything else is pretty good. Those orc boys are kind of beaten up, but they're pretty much expendable, so I'm not too worried about them. I've got my goblin big boss heading off to try and finish off theirs. Unfortunately, he's going to get swamped by all the things, and I'm going to have to try and deal with this big massive group, this blob of enemies, as my ally basically runs away. So I'm going to start kind of pulling back and trying to form lines, keep things going. I do have my archers firing into this unit of Boar Boy Biggins, and they're not going to last very long under that. They don't like that very much. We do have a full-strength giant here, which is going to cause problems. And then I've got my Boar Boys over here fighting these Reichsguard, who are anti-infantry, whereas my Boar Boy Biggins are anti-large. So that's actually a fight that they should do pretty well in, but they're going to get tied up here. And the problem with that is that with me being outnumbered and outmatched at this point, since I have two enemies focusing just on me, I need these cavalry available to me so that I can get back here, do some hammer and anvil, get some flanking maneuvers, and all that kind of stuff if I'm going to have any chance of winning it. So even though they're winning this fight, I need them in other places on the battlefield right now. So that's not doing me a whole lot of good. We've got another Empire Flying Death Squad kind of coming in here and doing stuff, basically causing me harassment problems. They're just wailing on me. And My Orc War Boss is kind of able to fend them off a little bit, and I'm able to get some leadership buffs and stuff like that in. But at this point, my opponents are able to basically just start sending guys in to keep hammering my relatively small number of units. The Empire has regrouped a little bit over here, but all of their units are in really rough shape and are not going to be able to do a whole lot. He did get his Reichsguard into these Free Company militia, which is good. Over here, I've got guys running away from the Flying Death Squad that the Empire has sent at me. I've got some units holding up in here, but all I've really got is I got one Orc Boar Boy, a couple of big uns, my Shaman, which shouldn't be in melee if I can possibly avoid it, and my War Boss. And then over on this side, my cavalry is still fighting. These guys have all started to run away, so they're fleeing. And my army is basically falling apart at this point. I'm going to be able to hold up here for a little bit longer. We'll win this fight against these spearmen, but I'm not going to be able to take care of this many guys with my handful of remaining troops after I just got hammered by everything. My boar boys are starting to run away because they sent in goblins, spearmen, to deal with them, and my boar boys don't like getting attacked by spearmen, so I'm going to start pulling them back. Also, this Flying Death Squad is a problem as well, because I have nothing that can really efficiently deal with them at this point. There's just too many of them, and I'm spread too thin. I've got a Goblin Big Boss over here that I think I mismicroed and completely forgot about, which is not good. He's just going to sit there, maybe for the rest of the battle. I don't even know. That one was definitely a mistake on my part. I think he went chasing after something, and I forgot to bring him back into the fight where he could have been at least a little bit useful, but I don't think he would have made enough of a difference to turn this battle around. At this point, we are basically beaten. Couple Empire units holding up here as best they can, but there's too many opponents at this point, and too many strong enemies for us to deal with effectively. I think if we had formed up at the beginning, honestly, I'm relatively happy with the way that I formed up and my kind of plan of attack. My ally, on the other hand, I think if he had reformed his line here and made the enemies charge him from the front, and I had provided a little bit of support, forcing the main engagement to happen here, I think we might have been okay. But it just, we ran into some issues, and that was kind of our downfall. We got spread out too far, and my Empire ally really didn't react well to getting attacked by everything. And didn't bring enough units. I think that was definitely a problem. I think my ally could have picked his army better. I think he picked too much artillery. I don't mind the steam tank, but he picked too many high spend units and not enough, just not enough men was a big problem. So even though it says we started with more than our enemies did, but anyway, so that's basically going to be this battle. This one's over and has been over for a couple of minutes now for all intents and purposes. Let's take a look at the battle recap. So we've got my army here. My biggins did okay. Keep in mind, a lot of what I was fighting were single unit targets, like these giants, for example. A couple of his bosses and lords and agents and stuff like that, so that's going to be reflected in my counts. But we did all right. We did okay. My ally, his greatswords did well, as to be expected. His steam tank, I really don't think 38 kills justifies the 220 gold for the steam tank. Same with these Reichsguard. 60 is pushing it. I think depending on what those 60 were, that may justify the spend. I think Reichsguard off the top of my head are... No, they're not 1,500. I think they're 1,200 a pop. So that's 2,400. I mean, basically, between this, the Reichsguard... These 5 units alone were like 75% of his funds. And that's only 5 units. And the Great Cannon, 10 kills, not enough there to justify the cost. They didn't perform to their cost at all. As far as our enemies go, The Doom Divers did very well. They were basically allowed to freely fire the entire battle, which was a problem. The Black Orcs did pretty well. My Black Orcs did not. I got 20 kills with my Black Orcs. That was not worth the spend. And then as far as the enemy Empire goes, there's Zintler's Reichsguard, 59 kills, not so great there. I mean, nothing here with astronomically high kills. The highest thing was honestly these Doom Divers, and yeah, but I mean, part of the problem is that Greenskins have very low leadership and they run away very easily. So once left to basically fight 2 armies by yourself as the Greenskins, you can really be in a tough situation, because your guys will run away before they're really in nasty shape. But anyway, that was the battle. Maybe we learned something from it. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. But guys, that is going to do it for me. So if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave me a comment. I do appreciate it, and it really helps out my channel. You can also find me on Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch. There are links in the video description below, so check that out as well. Otherwise, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll definitely see you next time.